that you're trying to save me. Stop holding your breath. And you think I'm crazy. Yeah, you think I'm crazy.
Hi my angels, it's Haley Reese, and for today's video we are going to dive into shadow people. I'm assuming that a ton of YouTubers have touched on this topic before, mostly because it is such a common thing to happen, and there are so many theories surrounding what these shadow people are, how you get rid of them, what attracts them, and what their intentions are. But for today's video, I hope to give you guys more of an insight to what they could be and kind of explore some different possibilities rather than particular experiences. A lot of the things in articles and videos that I found while I was searching up on shadow people primarily explore the stories and the experiences of other people. For my video today, I want to explore what exactly they are and what people all across the world think. So if you guys want to explore where shadow beings come from, what they come for, what their intentions are, and how to get rid of them, all you have to do is just keep on watching today's video. Before I get into today's video though, as usual, I just want to say if you are new to my channel or you are just not yet subscribed, but you do enjoy my videos, please go ahead, click that subscribe button. My Reese's Pieces and I believe in the unbelievable, so if you too believe in the unbelievable or you just want to hear about it, we would love it if you would join our growing family. So I want to start out this video by asking you guys a question. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to physically hear your answer, but I mean, you totally can leave it in the comments below, which I would love because I love to read what you guys say. But either way, I want you to just answer this question in your own mind. Have you ever, even just from the corner of your eye, in a dark room, seen a shadowed figure? It could be standing still or in the same place, or it could be moving. It could be that you have just seen it from the corner of your eye and when you turn to look, it's completely gone. Or have you ever even just had a feeling that something is standing right behind you, but when you turn to look, nothing is there? The dark, shadowed figures and the misconception of something being there when it is not have been labeled by the modern generations as shadow people. Shadow people are basically an entirely black shadow, typically in the form of a male that has no face, no facial features, and no other correlation to being a ghostly figure or a human figure other than its human-like shape. Shadow people have actually been around since the ancient times, but we have only titled them as shadow people or shadow beings within the recent decades. Which is actually true for so many of the modern things that we learn and all of the paranormal experiences and the afterlife and things like that. Ancient times touched on basically all of these things, but yet we've just adapted them and changed them into our own words and our own form. It's kind of like how there's multiple religions, but you can find common denominators in each religion, even if they have different ways of explaining them. That's what we've done with shadow people over the years, and that's what we've done with plenty of other things as well. Now, what exactly shadow people are is completely up for discussion. Nobody knows, no psychic, no medium, nobody. There's no direct definition or explanation as to what these shadow people are. However, they are most commonly perceived as interdimensional beings. We've talked about multiple dimensions in some of my previous videos, and basically what an interdimensional being is a being from another dimension that is able to cross over into our current dimension. Like I said, you guys, overall their intentions are completely unknown. Some say the shadow beings are guardians watching over us while we sleep. This is because primarily shadow beings are seen in the middle of the night. People will wake up out of a dead sleep and see a shadow standing in the room, and when they blink or rub their eyes, that shadow may or may not go away. Some people have even experienced these shadow beings on top of them, and that's kind of where it's up for discussion as to whether or not they are something looking out for us or they are something more satanic or demonic. There are plenty of people in the world who believe that shadow figures are nothing but solely evil. Now, skeptics argue that it is simply a product of our imagination. I mean, scientifically, our eyes have been known to make up or see something in that fraction of a second that maybe we've woke up or looked at something quickly. That may not even be there. There are plenty of people who wake up in the middle of the night, maybe you have like a coat hanger with a hat on it, and for that fraction of a second you make up a humanoid shape and you think that there is something standing there, but the more that you stare at it and your eyes kind of adjust, you see that it's actually just your coat hanger with a hat on it. But I don't think that science can necessarily debunk the fact that hundreds of thousands of people experience these shadow figures. I am most certainly, however, not discrediting that a lot of these instances might just be our eyes playing tricks on us or imagination. But that's true with anything paranormal or anything spiritual or anything of those sorts. But as you guys know, I would not be Haley Reese if I didn't believe in the unbelievable, and so we're going to discuss right now what exactly this could be if it's not scientific. So let's start out with the theory that shadow people are ghosts. Now in the spiritual world, this has basically been debunked. Shadow people are not similar to ghosts, and I'll explain to you why. So ghosts are the spirits of those who have passed. They were once a physical human being like you and I. Why did I just go you and I? Like you and I, and they lived on this earth and passed over. Sometimes they stay here because something is keeping them here. Other times they are just visiting from the other side, maybe to see loved ones or visit a place that they loved a lot, things like that. But because they are those of a human that has passed, they are known to have facial features. People who see ghosts either describe them as like a white apparition, or they can describe the clothes that they're wearing or the facial features they have or the hair that they have. They don't see ghosts as a black entity. For that reason and that reason alone, I personally don't think that ghosts and shadow people are similar. The next theory is that they are demons. Now when I was reading up on shadow people, there are so many different types of shadow people. Some have hats, some have green eyes, some have red eyes, some have no eyes, some lurk on the floor, some crawl on the bed. There's so many different things. But something important to know about shadow people is that typically they don't physically touch the person in which they are in the presence of. Now there have been odd occurrences where people say that shadow people climb on top of them, but majority of people who experience shadow people say that they just stand in the corner of the room, or they see them in their peripheral vision, or they feel them behind them. So for it to be a demon, I don't really quite understand the purpose that it would be serving, perhaps other than to scare you or frighten you, but I mean, I don't know what to think of this one. It's kind of difficult to say. Now, I'm talking about shadow people as a whole. This is not debunking the fact that demons or demonic entities can come in a dark mass form. I'm not discrediting that. I'm just saying, like, shadow people as a whole, I wouldn't necessarily say that they're all a bunch of demons. Now this next theory that I want to explore, you guys, super excites me. So you guys know I did a video on astral projection. And this video basically explains how people through intention can project out of their body into the astral planes and kind of explore the universe and travel to different places and spaces in time, or travel to places where time doesn't even exist. If you want to check out that video, I will have a link below and a link right up here for you to click. But anyways, some believe that the shadow people are actually the shadows of people experiencing out-of-body experiences or astral projection. Now this theory is super interesting, and I'm gonna explain why some people think this. Now when I think of my soul, I don't think of it as black. I personally just like to think of my soul as something light and white and bright and beautiful, and I like to think of everyone else's souls the same, but let's, for argument's sake, look at what other people think. Other people think that perhaps because our physical body is still here in our dimension, it is here in our current dimension, and it is still very much alive. However, our soul is out exploring. So people believe that perhaps these shadow people are people out experiencing astral projection or out-of-body experiences, and the reason that they don't have any facial features or any human-like features is because their human body is still in the real world, it is still back there, and it is simply just their soul traveling. I find this theory super interesting. I don't know how much of it I believe or whether or not I think that's the explanation, but it is an interesting theory to think about. Now, others believe that shadow people are a product of time travel, and that perhaps we are so advanced in the future that when we travel back in time, we are able to block out our identities so that people don't physically see people from the future and things like that. Now, if we had that type of technology, it is kind of a plausible explanation. I mean, if you wake up in the middle of the night and you see some futuristic person standing in your room, you might freak out a little bit and tell people, and they're gonna be like, what the heck? Especially if hundreds of thousands of people across the globe are experiencing it. I mean, it's an interesting theory yet again, but I'm not entirely sure that that's exactly what it is. Now, people who claim to have been abducted by aliens say that they can appear and disappear just like that in the split second, that they can go through walls, that they can change themselves to whatever form they want you to see them in, basically that they can do whatever they want physically. So if you in the extraterrestrial community believe that perhaps shadow people are just aliens masking their appearance or watching you sleep or thinking about conducting experiments, I don't know, you guys. Now I want to touch on something super interesting that I read because it really blew my mind that there's always two sides to everything, like I say. Half of the community believes that shadow people feed off of electricity and energy and electric currents and the energy of human beings. Now those are clearly the people that don't necessarily think that they're evil or that they have bad intentions or anything like that. These people just think that they are simply no different than anything else from other dimensions, and while others say that they feed on fear. Now anything that has a bad intention, even if it's just a ghost, no matter what it is, they always do feed on fear. This is a fact. I mean, it's not like a scientific fact or a proven fact, but amongst the spiritual community, it's known that anytime that anything negative is trying to get to you, they feed off of your fear. So this is what's gonna lead me into my experience, and then I'm gonna let you guys know how to get rid of them. So I've actually experienced shadow people ever since I was a little girl, and more so when I was younger than now, to be honest with you guys. When I was little, I would wake up in the middle of the night and see a shadowed figure standing next to my bed, and this is like 100% my memory. This is totally the truth. And I would just see it. It was almost as if my room was too dark to physically see the expressions. I never really painted it as they had no face or they had no expressions. To me, it was just like maybe my room is too dark, my eyes aren't adjusting, and I can't really make out what it is, but it was like a human figure. Now mine would move, so I could see it walk across the room or things like that, which I've read is a very common experience amongst a lot of people who experience shadow people. I would also sometimes, and this is so freaky, and this happened less than seeing them in my room, but it did happen, roll over in the night, briefly open my eyes, and see like a shadowed figure in my bed. I swear to goodness, it was so freaky. Now when I was a kid, my way of getting rid of them would just be to flick my light on really quickly and look in the room and they were not there. But now anytime that I see any sort of shadow in my room or any sort of anything, be it a ghost, be it a shadow, whatever it is, I really just try to roll over and go back to sleep. I mean, like I read up on, shadow people typically don't cause any harm to the people that they are visiting, and I personally have never experienced any physical harm from these shadow people. Most of the time these things are harmless, but I'm not going to discount that there are things in the world that can be negative. I think the most important thing, you guys, is to really trust your instinct when you see these things in your room and see how it makes you feel. Does it make you feel sick? Does it make you feel negative? Or does it just make you feel afraid because you're unsure of it? That is so important, and I can't stress it enough with any spirit or anything that's visiting you. You kind of have to evaluate it for your own instinct. Am I afraid because I don't understand it or I don't want to see it? Or am I afraid because I genuinely know that it is something negative and it is something bad? Now, I'm going to tell you guys how to get rid of anything in your room at night that you don't want, or anything in your space that you don't want in general. I'm not going to bring religion into it because I think we all have our own personal beliefs and we all have our own religions, and whatever works for you works for you. I think that we can all agree with the religion of light, love, kindness, empathy, and faith. And I think that my greatest advice to give to you is to just truly trust in your faith, whatever that may be. Trust in light and love, trust in the power of purity and kindness. And it sounds so corny, but I'm telling you guys, anything that is of negativity, and I'm telling you this from the bottom of my heart, any spirit, anything that vibrates on a low negative vibration does not want to be around something vibrating on a high vibration. That is just the reality of it. If you are vibrating this light and this love and this high vibration and this passion and this lust for life, they're not going to want to be around you. So the very first thing that you have to do is trust in your own energy and trust in your own environment. In my personal opinion, the truth about shadow people may not be known worldwide, but I think that it is known to those who have experienced it that it is very much real. Whatever they are, whatever their intention is, they truly do exist. To those of you who have seen them, you know. To those of you who don't, totally up for discussion for you, but in my personal opinion, I believe shadow people to be something, and I believe that they're from another dimension. Whatever dimension that may be, or whatever their intentions are, still remains unknown. Well, you guys, I really wanted to touch on this video because so many of you guys have been requesting that I do something on shadow people. They don't want to copy other people and do reading other people's experiences and things like that. I wanted to take a more open approach and kind of explore all the different possibilities that could make up the truth about shadow people and what they really are, so that you guys can discuss below what you think they are. Have you experienced shadow people? Do you have an idea to what you think they are? Do you believe in them? Do you not? Let me know. Talk it out in the comments below. Be kind to one another, please. And I can't can't wait to read what you guys have to say, because as usual, I love talking about these types of topics with you guys because you guys are so open-minded. Even if you don't believe it, you guys are so cool. I just want to take a moment too and just say how sweet it was of Loie Lane to go ahead and mention me in her Dear David Part 2 video. She basically extended off of my Dear David video and shared what's updated on the Dear David thing, and it was so cool of her to really just credit me for that and to shout me out, and I love her so much, you guys. Like, you have no idea. And I mean, her life experiences are so similar to mine, and I know that she doesn't think I'm crazy, which is so cool because I low-key feel like everyone else in the YouTube community probably thinks I'm a crazy person. So it's so nice to have someone on here who's experienced the same things as me and that she shows me so much love. Like, I think it is so cool when women empower other women, and it's so kind of her to empower me and to really lift me up as I'm new here on YouTube and just like welcome me with such a nice embrace. So Loie, if you're watching this, I love you so much. Thank you for mentioning me, and it's just like, you made my whole week. Like, truly, it was the best thing, so thank you. I like don't even know what to say, because every time I think about the fact that you mentioned me in your video, I get like, I get all like giddy and excited. If you guys enjoyed today's video but you are not yet subscribed, please go ahead and click that subscribe button. I post a ton of videos you don't want to miss when I upload. And please give this video a big thumbs up if you did enjoy it. It makes my heart so happy, so please do that. Remember, my loves, do all things with kindness. And until next time, love you!